Hello and welcome to day 4 of the 25 days of empowerment. It is April 4th, 2024. I am Emiliana Patrick. I'm a breathwork facilitator and astrologer. You can find me at thepatrickpearl.com or schedule an acupuncture appointment with me at the Daoist Tradition Student Clinic on South French Broad in Asheville, North Carolina.
And I'm Tiffany. I'm a self-love and feminine empowerment coach. And if you were not born into a feminine body, or if you identify as something other than feminine, my message will still fit you because we all have masculine and feminine parts within us. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram at tigerlily.and.co.
So here we are. And the energy now, again, we settle into the Mercury retrograde and the slowing down, and definitely noticing our dreams more and the messages the natural world sends us in all of its ways, like an animal or an experience that makes you scratch your head and say, what was that about? This is time to slow our minds down and to contemplate more deeply. And today, I felt it really important, as now that in the moon cycle, we're headed toward a period of time where the dark of the moon is coming. And I want to talk about that and some important dates to know. So I'm going to call this eclipse important dates. The first date to know is the dark moon, which is April 7th. April 7th is one of the most important days, in my humble opinion, of our entire year, because this is the day that we're going to be choosing, if you wish, to release, to let go, or to loosen completely that which you are not carrying with you into the next 6 months. When we have that eclipse on the 8th, huge amounts of energy comes in, setting the tone for the next 6 months. And on this day, I don't know what to call this one, Tiffany. I don't know if to call it a sacred day. I don't know. That's how I view it personally. Help me out here. What are your thoughts on this?
So it is a very sacred day. And when I think of what we're fully releasing and how we're moving into our new phase, the word grief is coming up for me. So maybe it's a sacred day of grief. I know that that word carries a very heavy connotation, and I feel it's appropriate here. It's really exciting to move into new places, but it can also be really challenging on the heart, as we're coming to terms with what it is that we're fully releasing and how our old way of existing is now changing. So for me, I do have grief ceremonies, especially when the energies are powerful and I can feel within me things are changing. My thought patterns are shifting. The way I'm moving through the world is different. And while it is exciting, I also find it to be really important to not bypass the grieving process.
Oh, that is so true. And my own way of working with this energy of the balsamic moon before the eclipse is I light a big fire. I've got a fire, like it's not really a pit, but it's like one of those things where you can put logs in,
Mhm.
and I go through things. I go through my journals. I go through what I would consider things that are holding old energy. And I just take it all out to the fire. And there are some things I can tell you I am not ready to let go of yet. I'm still very, very attached, but I know that they're on their way out.
Mhm.
Like, we just can't do everything. We can't hold everything. And so during this time, if I'm not ready to release it, I ask for help to loosen my attachment and to
Mm.
help me come to terms with the fact that something's leaving my life.
Mhm.
And the other, so personally, this is a day I prepare for, in that I don't head out into the world on this day. Personally, I don't do my grocery shopping. I don't do my bills. I don't, I don't even try. I don't engage with the world very much. This is a very personal day for me. And like, I turn off my phone. That doesn't mean like that doesn't make it wrong
What
if you
you
go out and
can do what you, some people logistically, because of family or friends they're caring for, cannot. But even for, I'll do that as well, not for an entire day, but even turning off my phone for 10 minutes and saying I'm not available for 10 minutes is huge. And I feel a shift and a huge sense of relief. So do what you can.
Yeah. Another thing to know is that this is a day very potent for connecting with your ancestors and honoring the choices of your ancestors, but knowing that you don't need to continue the patterns that are unhealthy.
Mhm.
Like, if you want to call end game, you can sense something's moving through you, but it is not appropriate for you. It's
Mhm.
just merely living an old pattern ancestrally. You can let that go really powerfully. So on
Yes.
our video for April 7th, we'll talk more about how we can connect and how we can help you go into and wade through this process. The next one is April 8th, the actual day of the eclipse. And I have to tell you, I have been working with eclipse energy for 15 years now, and I have learned something important. Don't do anything the day of the new moon eclipse. Notice I didn't say full moon, new moon. Nothing, nothing. Don't do it. Okay, like that. Don't go about your business, be out in the world. Just, this is a day, honor nature,
Mm.
honor your role as an earthling,
Mm.
um, and appreciate these huge, at the lunar eclipse, huge amounts of energy left. On the 8th, huge amounts of energy is coming in, and it's honestly not stable enough to help you create any lasting transformation.
That makes perfect sense. If we're moving a lot out, something new is going to come in its place. But imagine like a newborn baby and how you don't really want to expose it to a lot of things. It can't walk, it can't talk. It is just, and you new mothers kind of go into a protective cocoon. So, and what a beautiful time or beautiful thing to happen in the spring too.
Right.
Talking about new life, new energy. What a beautiful way to spend April 8th is just by getting outside, honoring the cycles, not expecting anything to happen because it's way too new for
And it's
anything
unstable. The
to
bottom line is this: new moons always bring in new energy, but so
really.
much energy is coming in that nothing can root because of the sheer
They're,
amount of energy.
yeah, they're just sprinkled on the surface. They haven't yet taken root or begun to sprout. They're brand new, just out of the seed packet.
Right. So yeah. So this day on our, I'm really looking forward to our April 8th recording, because this is like, yes, this is the power of creation
Mm.
and enjoyment of that. Now I want to talk about April 9th and April 10th. And these are treasure map days. This is the day, these are the days, there are 2 days that the best way to pair with it is by creating a treasure map. This is not a vision board. And I wanted to describe the difference here. This is not a vision board. It's not a vision board because the first question is, what is your treasure? And you can only find your treasure by going into your heart. Because there's a famous quote, where your heart is, there your treasure will be also. And so the number one thing to do here is you need to come into your heart before you touch that poster board, I like it. I like a big I put a few of them together sometimes, like the bigger the better for me personally. But I've also seen people make these really small. It
Mm,
doesn't, it's just really your personal preference.
mm,
Once you are tuning with your heart, and think about a year from now, what treasure would you like to have found on your journey?
mm. I love this so much more than a vision board because we're mapping out where we're going. We're already planning to put in the work to get to what we want. I feel like a vision board completely bypasses the work and only focuses on the vision. But we have to put energy. Not only I like where your heart is, your treasure will be also. Where your energy goes, that is where your treasure is. I think about it in the sense of money and finances. If you take a look at your financial footprint, you can see what you care about.
That's right. And the other thing is sometimes your treasure, I think about Pirates of the Caribbean, where Johnny Depp looks at Orlando Bloom, and I don't even remember the names of their characters, but he looks at him and says, treasure is not only gold made,
Yes.
you know, your treasure may be not tangible. Your
Hmm.
treasure might be reconciliation with someone.
Hmm.
Your treasure might be starting a business,
Hmm.
you know, and I have to say, with this configuration of Mercury retrograde and the eclipse happening, pay attention to your heart, because more so during these days than other new moons in Aries, you might dismiss what your heart is telling you your treasure is. You might
Hmm.
be thinking it's not small, it's not big enough, it's not good enough. You might see it and say, oh, hell no, I'm not going there.
Hmm.
And really, this is about surrender.
Yep.
This is about really touching into your treasure, the treasure that is true within your heart. And this is why it's 2 days, because you are going to be, this is an option. This is an invitation.
Good
Much
luck.
better use of words. Aries, Mercury, just saying. Um, you're going to, invitation is to write down words, phrases, ideas, pictures, draw pictures or find pictures that come to your heart. And if they scare you, if they're not comfortable, just sit with them.
Hmm.
You don't need to add them to your treasure map yet. Just sit with them, and you might, until there's like a willingness, like, okay, this really is my treasure. Be open to the illumination and the possibilities of 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 your treasure this year. And
Hmm.
don't forget to add like little footsteps or like a path. Like,
Yes.
like one year I used M&Ms because I was inviting decadence.
I love that. I love that, Emiliana. I really do. And to go back to what you were talking about really getting a deep sense of what your treasure is and how it is more than just the physical acts. When I work with clients, I'm a somatic-based coach. So I ask them, what are you feeling in your body? And so as you're working through this treasure map and figuring out where is my heart truly, if you feel some anxiety, some nervousness, maybe even a little tug in your stomach, pay attention to that. That's a clue. And that can tell you either this is a huge goal or a huge aspiration that's going to scare me. And then work with that fear. Is that something that you're fully willing to take on now or maybe later? And that's something that you can set aside. So as you're working through this, close your eyes and sense in because your body stores the clues.
Yeah. So here's the phrase. You may come up against something where you get this. I may not feel ready, but this is what I genuinely want. This is where my heart genuinely is.
Mhm.
And then when you're ready, So what are you going to need? Why are we doing this kind of preview episode? For the 9th and 10th, something could be small, could be big, but a blank canvas, something you're going to be working with. Access like colors, pictures, words, and no, you're not going to be ready to do this until the 9th and the 10th. And during our video, then we're going to be holding the space of this energy so that you can touch in more deeply and get more congruent with your heart. So I just wanted to share these important days that are coming up so that you have them in your field.
So many exciting things coming. I'm so excited. And we'll be here with you through it all.
Take care. Much love.
Mm-hmm.